teacher talking sports, what does, what do, how we live. And if you've been a follower of the channel, you know I've done plenty of Mount Rushmore videos where I name the four best in certain areas. So I've done them for MLB, NBA, NFL, and NHL. Now, during the recent NFL and MLB off seasons, I did the four best players by decade. Now that the NHL's in their off season, I figured I would do likewise for the NHL. So let's get into it. I also previously did NHL Mount Rushmore's four best players in each team's history, four best players at each position in NHL history. So they'll all be in a playlist. But let's start with the decade. So the 2010s will consist of 2009-10 to 2018-19. Hopefully I'll do the 2020s once that decade is complete. But in alphabetical order by last name, I decided to include Sidney Crosby, Patrick Kane, Henrik Lundqvist, and Alex Ovechkin. I'll get more into them later. But probably the toughest omission was Evgeny Malkin. Erik Karlsson was also a very difficult omission. Some other honorable mentions include Patrice Bergeron, Duncan Keith, Jonathan Toews, Brent Burns, to name a few. But let's get into the four guys I chose and get a little more in depth. So all four guys actually played for just one team throughout their decade. So let's start with Sid the Kid, Sidney Crosby. Of course, played all 10 seasons from 2009-10 to 2018-19 with the Penguins. Won a Hart Trophy in 2013-14. That season he also won the Art Ross as he led the league in scoring. Won two Lester B. Pearsons as the best player according to the NHLPA. He also had Hart Trophy finishes in the decade of second three times, so was runner-up three times, third and fifth. Also had some lower Selke Trophy voting, fourth, seventh, ninth. So was seen as a two-way player. But for the decade, Crosby, and when you see the stats on their hockey reference, that's just showing what they did during the decade. So in the decade, Crosby played 653 games, scored 314 goals, 505 assists, 819 points, was a plus 153. So as I mentioned, led the league in scoring 2013-14 with 104 points. That was one of three seasons where he had totaled more than 100 points in the decade. Well over a point per game every season in the decade. Twice led the league in goals scored. 2009-10 had 51. 2016-17 had 44. He also had four other seasons with more than 30 goals. In 2013-14 led the league with 68 assists. Had three seasons of at least 60 assists. Another two with over 50, was in the positive and plus minus every season except 2017-18 where he finished dead even. Of course, Crosby did a lot in the postseason during that time, so made the playoffs almost every year in the decade. 115 games total, scored 42 goals, 81 assists for 123 points. Penguins won back-to-back Stanley Cups in 2016 and 2017, and in both of those, Crosby was named the Conn Smythe winner as the playoff MVP. So, without a doubt, Sidney Crosby had to be on here. Second, let's go again, alphabetical order. Patrick Kane, he was the first overall pick in the 2007 NHL draft. Played all 10 seasons with the Chicago Blackhawks. So for the decade, he was a Hart Trophy winner in 2015-16, also won the Art Ross and Lester B. Pearson those years as well. During the decade, he also had Hart Trophy finishes of 6th twice, 7th, and 8th. Three times was named to the NHL's first All-Star team. So for the decade, Kane played 741 games, scored 310 goals, 486 assists for 796 points, was a plus 68 for the decade. So led the league in scoring, as I mentioned, since he won the Ross. In 2015-16 with 106 points. Also had over 100 points in the last season of the decade, 2018-19, when he scored a career-high 110. He scored more than 50 points every season in the decade, and every season in the decade besides besides two, he scored more than at least a point per game. Kane had 4 seasons of at least 30 goals. He had another 8 seasons of at least 40 assists. Was annually one of the league's great scorers, either goal scorers or assists. And of course, the Blackhawks were an excellent team in the decade, winning 3 Stanley Cups. Of course, Kane was a part of all of them. For the decade, 111 games played in the playoffs, 41 goals, 68 assists for 109 points, plus 13. Won the Conn Smythe in the 2013 postseason. In the last of the Stanley Cups championships, 2015, he led all playoff performers with his 23 points. Patrick Kane, the second member of my 2010's Mount Rushmore. Next, let's go with goaltender Henrik Lundqvist. Of course, played the whole decade with the New York Rangers. For the decade, he won the Vezina Trophy. Surprisingly, just won one. Arguably could have won more than one. But in 2011-12 was the Vezina Trophy winner. During the decade, he also had Vezina Trophy finishes of 2nd, 4th, 5th, and 6th twice in these Vezina Trophy winning season. Also had a Hart Trophy finish of 3rd. So if we take a look at his numbers in the decade, Lundqvist won 307 games with a 2.45 goals against average, 919 save percentage, 43 shutouts for the decade with the Rangers. In the shortened 2012-13 season, he did lead the league with 24 wins, but in the first 7 of the full seasons of the decade, he had at least 30 wins, had over a 900 save percentage every season of the decade, actually higher than 907 every season, had over a 920 save percentage in the first 7 seasons of the decade. Goals against average, only in the last season of the decade did he have over a 3 goals against average. In 2011-12, he had a microscopic 1.97, led the league with 11 shutouts in 2010-11. That was one of 4 seasons in a decade where Lundqvist totaled at least 5 shutouts. Did not win a Stanley Cup, but the Rangers did reach the Cup in 2014, where they fell to the Los Angeles Kings. But he had a solid postseason decade, winning 47 games, 2.17 goals against average, 926 save percentage, 7 shutouts in 98 starts. Yes, while Lundqvist didn't win a Stanley Cup in his career, he did make the Hockey Hall of Fame as a first balloter in 2023, third member of my 2010's Mount Rushmore. And let's end with the recent all-time goal scorer, Alex Ovechkin. Of course, he didn't do that in the 2010s, but played his whole decade with the Washington Capitals. So in the 10 seasons with the Capitals, he won a Hart Trophy in 2012-13, won the Rocket Richard for being the league's best top goal scorer 6 times in the decade. Incredible. Also was an NHL's first All-Star team 4 times in the decade, had Hart Trophy finishes of 2nd twice, runner-up twice, 6th, 7th, and 9th in the decade as well. So in the 2010s, 2009, 10, 2018, 19, Ovechkin, 760 games, 439 goals, 352 assists, 791 points for a plus 75. As I mentioned, led the league in goals 6 times in the decade. He had 5 seasons with at least 50 goals. So was an incredible goal scorer. Had over 100 points in 2009. 10. I would say plus 45 that year. Pretty incredible. So Ovechkin just lit up the net, like with the best of them, as we see. He's the all-time goal scorer. But yes, also won his first cup in this decade. That came in 2018. So in the decade, he played a total of 100 playoff games, 45 goals, 41 assists, 86 points. 2018, as I mentioned, won the Stanley Cup, 15 goals in 24 postseason games, won the Conn Smythe as the playoff MVP. Alex Ovechkin still lighting up the lamp like few can, as he's nearing the age of 40, but for the decade of the 2010s, he has to be one of the four best. So let me know in the comments if you agree with the four. What would you change? Stay tuned for tomorrow, though. I'll be doing the 2000s. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend, tell a friend, tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.